Hello, thanks for listening to the Testing the Spirits podcast today. Different setting. Those on Spotify, you're not going to see it. Doesn't matter though. Anyways, the title of this podcast is Empty Pews. That's right, Empty Pews. Those who follow the channel, you know I am no fan of Benny Hinn, but there have been, believe it or not, one or two occasions where I heard Benny Hinn say something and I actually agreed with it. So here's one thing Benny Hinn said that I agreed with. He said, "Nothing discourages Christians more than empty pews. And nothing discourages a pastor more than empty pews." And I can testify to that, not just because I'm a pastor and when the church is full, people are just, they're happier. There's like an electricity in the air. People just, it has a positive effect on everybody. But when the church is like half empty and half the congregation, for whatever reason, just doesn't show up. And of course, you realize that sometimes there are people that are sick or they're away, and the fact that they're not there, there's a legitimate reason. But let's face it, sometimes a lot of people just don't feel like going. And yeah, that has a discouraging effect, not just on the pastor, which it does. It has a discouraging effect on everybody. And here's the thing, and I don't say that just because I'm a pastor and I've dealt with that. I would say this is the one thing, talking with other pastors, this is just universally true. I've talked to pastors and they say, why do I even study all week and put in all this work to preach a sermon when nobody bothers showing up? Or, and a lot of pastors do quit. They're in the ministry. They feel called to the ministry. They deal with things year after year, but at a certain point when people just don't seem to care, and they don't go to church and the pews are empty and they feel like quitting. And I've heard this from, I don't know about every pastor I've ever talked to, but it's probably one of the most consistent things I've heard. And you're probably aware of some of the statistics that within the first 5 years, the dropout rate among men who enter the ministry and end up quitting within the first 5 years, it's very high numbers. So pastors are reluctant, I think, to bring this up because it seems like if you bring it up, it makes it worse. Like if you say, okay, empty pews are the problem, discouragement is the problem, it makes people want to stay home even more. And it causes even more discouragement. It's like a snowball effect. But I want to maybe strike a more positive tone here and just say this is something that we have control over. There is actually something you can do. Somebody asked me one time, they said, "Pastor, what can I do for you? You serve us, you do this for us. What can I do for you?" And I said, just be faithful. Just come to church on Sunday and be faithful. Like really, we don't have that high of expectations. Maybe we should, I don't know. But really, this is something that anyone can do. Just show up on Sunday morning and be faithful. That's it. Here's the thing. If and I realize it's not going to happen as far as every Christian, but if the majority of Christians just did this and were committed to Sunday morning attendance and being faithful to God in that area, and let's face it, there's a lot of people who are. Okay, there's a lot of believers. They are there every Sunday, no matter what, and these are the people that do keep a pastor encouraged. These are the faithful saints. They're the ones who keep the church going, and God bless those people. But yeah, this is something that we can all do. We have the ability to make choices to where if the majority of Christians were all in church on Sunday morning, here's what would happen. that would, instead of discouraging pastors and other church members, because let's face it, I'm in New England. This is just the way it is with nearly all of the churches. On Sunday morning, 90 whatever percent of the churches are half empty. If people just made a commitment, every Sunday morning, I'll be there. Even if, well, one of the kids is sick. Okay, do you have a kid who's not sick? Is one parent not sick? Then the parent and the child who's not sick, you go. Or, oh, well, we're going on vacation. Schedule your vacation around Sunday morning so that you're on vacation Monday through Saturday. Like, if people just did whatever they have to do to make church, worshiping God the priority, which is something we all say we believe, that God is number one, and any Christian would say that, if we actually put that into practice, and the majority of believers did that, here's what would happen. Instead of discouraging the pastor would be encouraged. If the pastor is encouraged and that effect is on him, it's going to be on everyone else. And that would actually cause the church to grow. Here's the thing. If you go to a church and you look around and people are discouraged and the place is half empty, you're probably not going to go back. If you go to a church and it's full and everyone has a smile on their face, that's a place you want to be. We have the ability to change that. But it's a commitment. It's a commitment that you need to make. It's a commitment that I need to make. I'm going to be there anyways. I'm the pastor. Okay. But this is on the I'll just say it. This is on the congregation. This is something you can do. If you want your church to grow, it's really up to you. So if you're there every Sunday, keep doing what you're doing. If you're not, this is something you can do that will grow your church. It will impact your church. You want to encourage others. You want to encourage your pastor. This is something you can do. The only question is, are people going to do it? Thanks for listening. And until next time, may the Lord be with you. Have a great day.